Hey, we have some nice dandelion greens here that we want to cook with some tilapia fish that we have. And so what we're going to do is start out by cooking this tilapia with really nice cool little marinade. So I'm going to start that out in this pan, and then we're going to add some dandelion greens to it with some nice flavorings later. But this is just tilapia, and right here have a little marinade made up of olive oil, either Bragg's liquid aminos or soy sauce, and maple syrup, and some roasted red pepper flakes, which you can see floating around in there. So right there, and I'm just gonna kind of whisk it. Like, I could have a bigger bowl, but I don't. That still works anyway. And then I'm just gonna pour it over the fish right here. Yummy. Alright, great. And now I am going to heat up the pan. Okay, so the fish, see, is just sitting here uncooked still, but it's starting to boil here, and we don't want it to over boil, but definitely, you know, you want to get a good boil going here. And it's eventually, with a little bit of time here, going to cook down and make a nice sauce for the fish as the fish is cooking. Okay, so continuing to cook our fish here, and the whole process is less than 10 minutes. But if you look here in the pan, around the outside of the fish it's like opaque, but you can see at the top here it's still not really cooked. And that's because, you know, you can see this fluid or the liquid is not getting in there. So I'm going to turn this fish over, which I'm kind of a spaz at it, so if I can do it, anybody can. And then I'm going to make almost a mess. Oh, see, that's just what I do, but it's still going to be alright. See, flipping and making a mess right there, and just cooking it in there, and turn up the heat a little bit more because it kind of lost a little boil, and continue on with this process. Alright, so looking forward to eating it. Okay, so now the fish is done here, as you can see, and I'm going to take it out of this fluid so it doesn't get overly cooked, and flip it on the plate. And there we go. I got a few broken pieces here that I'm pulling out, just a few. Get them all out of there. I mean, maybe you're better at this than me. And then we got this fluid left here, and I'm going to turn the water up, the heat up, and it's going to start to cook down here. So we'll just see how it's turning up right there, more and more bubbles coming up. We're just going to cook that down until it's a pretty good reduction, just like a little, almost like a smaller, much smaller sauce that we can pour over the fish. Okay, so now this stuff has like reduced down. It's like getting more glazed or whatever. It's getting more glazed. See, I'm just learning this as I'm going along. But it looks really yummy. You can see there. After a while, it's not going to get any smaller or down anymore because it's just oil. So right now, I'm just going to take this sauce, glaze, whatever you want to call it, and I'm going to pour it over the fish. Yum. Okay, now, gonna put the pan back on here, and I'm gonna chop the greens real quick, like that. And then I got some garlic that I'm mashing a little bit, and I'm gonna throw that garlic in there. And I'm gonna just let that go for a moment or two, not that long. Get it cooking just a little bit, and then we're gonna throw the greens on there. Throw the greens on there, the dandelion greens, which they're all yummy and ready to go. Throw them on. And then I'm just going to be pouring a little bit of vinegar on there to wilt them down a little bit. Actually, I'm going to add, we have not quite enough dandelion greens, so we have some spare spinach around. And I'm going to throw some of that on there. And just kind of toss it around in here, and then get some vinegar on it. Throw some vinegar, I think is what I'm doing. I know it's going to come out good. I'm just kind of learning as I'm going along. So, doing that. The vinegar goes on now. I'm just kind of, we're going to use this Bragg's unpasteurized, raw, unfiltered vinegar. Just a little bit here and there. I think you get the idea. You can hear it going off. Just make them nice and wilted. So this is like kind of that soury taste with the bitter, real nice. And this marinade and the glaze of the fish, and the fish are more like a sweet, maybe slightly salty. Well, of course it's got the sauce also has the Bragg's and the soy sauce, so it's got a lot of good flavor mixed together. Make it really yummy. This is like the good stuff here, so I'm almost done. Getting these wilted down just a little bit more. Looking good. This is actually our breakfast. And this is the greens. My plate's very sloppy but yummy with the dandelion and spinach in there with those salty sweet flavors. And then over here, with the vinegary flavors. And then over here is salty sweet on the fish. Really, really good. And then here is the other plate made by my associate here. Much, much neater. You can definitely give a better presentation than mine, but you know what? It all tastes the same.